A Galaxy Next Door is one of the most wholesome anime I have ever watched. This anime has so many cute moments in it that make you want to keep watching. There are some more serious themes this anime tackles though, so it isn't all fun and games. But A Galaxy Next Door knows how to balance these elements really well. This anime does a lot right, from its characters to the OST and really everything else. This series sometimes feels like a slice of life anime, but it does actually have a plot that is being moved forward with each new episode that comes out. Of course, it is super wholesome and awesome to watch and see unfold. This anime tackles a lot of different themes that I want to talk about in this video. But before doing that, it would be awesome if you could leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. I make new anime, manga, and webtoon content every single week on a variety of different series and topics. The importance of family is something that a lot of series love to explore. Of course, for the most part, it is done quite well. The main group of characters in this anime, with one exception, are all related to each other, and their bond is something that you just love to see. There is no bond stronger in this world than family, and this series shows that on full display in every single episode. The older brother sacrificed a lot in order to take care of his two younger siblings after they lost their parents, and we get to see how this relationship is built upon throughout the series. As it's not just a relationship where they are relying on each other, he also relies on them a lot. Whether it be help with something around the house, or funnily enough, relationships, or even just taking care of each other in a more general sense, the three siblings do a great job at showing off how powerful the bond of family can truly be. Love. What makes this emotion so strong? Why do we feel this way? Well, the series talks about this in the best way possible. Of course, I'm not talking about just romantic love. The series explores all kinds of love, from familial love to love between friends, and obviously romantic love as well. There are so many ways to express that you care for someone, and this anime tries to show off a bunch of these ways. It most predominantly focuses on the familial and romantic, but there is the occasional friendship in there as well. All of these different forms of love in this anime make it super wholesome to watch, to the point where it'll remind you of just how much of a lonely loser you are, just like it did for me.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
But that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. The wholesomeness easily makes this one of the best anime this season, and certainly the best romance anime this season, but that's just my opinion. Loneliness is something that everyone experiences at least one point in their lives. It can take shape in many different ways as well. Of course, forming connections is how you curb this feeling. A Galaxy Next Door is an anime that explores this theme pretty damn well by having a lot of these characters having experienced things like traveling on their own or losing someone precious. All of these things have helped make these characters feel pretty lonely, but them forming a bond with each other has helped them to open up and make for some really great and wholesome moments throughout the show. But it also doesn't shy away from showing you that loneliness is not something that can be easily fixed by just having people around you. It also requires a lot of effort on your own part to try and help get out of this mindset. Dealing with loss is something that is hard for anyone to do, and this series explores this topic in a very mature way. The main characters are all people who have lost somebody in their lives, whether it be their parents or a grandparent, and each of them is dealing with it differently. I like how some people in this anime are just remembering the good times they had with the person, but also allowing themselves to feel sad and grief. But I also like the three siblings' perspective of going to the family grave as often as you can to give your family an update of how everyone is doing. I'm not a very religious person and don't believe in the afterlife, but I still think that this is a very good and healthy way to deal with grief and loss while also remembering the good times you had with the person in question. Because I know for me, I would always be a wreck, so seeing the positive spin on loss and life is a very cool theme to explore, and one that I think a lot of people in life could learn a lot from. Okay, let's move on to some more lighthearted themes, starting with one that I absolutely love to explore in series, which is exploring new passions. I love seeing people pursue the things that they love. It is something that I think is really important for everyone to try and do. Of course, I know not everyone has the time or even the means of achieving their dreams. I mean, hell, I'm still chasing my dream of becoming a video editor. But even still, I say you should never give up on your dreams. You should always try to work towards your dreams and passions by whatever means, even if you can't do it for a living. Just making it a fun hobby you do could also be really good for people. This anime talks about this topic in a very amazing way as well. Shiori, one of the main characters, is someone who at the start of the series only has a dream and nothing more, but as we get further into the anime, we see her put a lot of effort to try and improve the things she wants to do, and eventually try to achieve her dream. Traveling out on your own can be a scary experience, but it can also be a life-changing experience. A Galaxy Next Door explores this in a pretty subtle way. It's not brought up too often, but there are times when we get to see Shiori having to get used to doing different things because she never had to do them before, or reminiscing about the past. But it's not just that stuff either. She had to get used to a whole new style of living, as the people of the island she is from live very differently from the people in mainland Japan. I want to travel to many different places, but I both don't have the free time or money to do it. Also because it's kinda scary to go to a whole new place, especially when I haven't ever left the US, hell, I barely left my home state. But exploring new places is a good experience that I one day want to experience. Despite this anime being a wholesome romance anime that is mostly a slice of life, the anime itself has a lot of mystery behind it. Like sure, it's mostly just figuring out things about the people of the island, like what happened to them or who they are, things like that, which we do learn, but it still has these questions there that make you wonder a lot about this series and the people in it. However, despite those minor things, this anime is still mostly just a wholesome romance anime and not much more. There are a lot of amazing characters in this anime. This anime mostly focuses on 4 main characters, but there are also a couple of side characters that get some screen time, not too much, but it's there. But the 4 main characters are all great in their own way. But before I talk about the main duo, I want to talk about the 2 younger siblings because I love their characters. Their personalities are really good, they're also quite cute, especially when trying to push their brother together with Shiori. But what I like the most is that they are always a duo. They hang out together, they support each other, and they help in any way they can. It's really cool to see a sibling relationship like that in anime. Alright, now let's get talking about the main duo, starting with Kugo, the main guy. He is a pretty cool character. For the most part, he has a generic personality for a romance protagonist in that he is a really nice guy who can never say no to people. But he also has his own traits that make him a really likable character, like the fact that he is very passionate about his work. But I also like the fact that he is a very responsible person. He is someone who is willing to sacrifice a lot to make sure his siblings could have a good life, and I respect that a lot. But he is also someone who never gave up on his dreams and eventually in some small part succeeded in his goal, which is great. Shiori is a very mysterious person when we first meet her. She clearly has a very weird and interesting past that she is trying to hide. But she also has a very strange personality, not that it's bad, but it's just strange at first. She is someone who is very passionate about manga and even wants to work on one herself, but also someone who doesn't seem to know all that much. It is very strange, but to see her development throughout the story so far has been nice. It makes the whole anime for me come together really well. As I mentioned, the side characters don't get all that much screen time, but there are still some that I like. Like Shiori's mother, she is a pretty interesting character who I would like to see more of and to see where her character is going to go. And there's also Chihiro, the cousin of Kuga. She gets more screen time than most of the other characters do due to her relation to Kuga, but even she doesn't get all that much. But I think we're starting to learn more about her character, which is awesome and helps to make for a more diverse cast than just the main 4. There are other side characters, but honestly they don't really play too much of a role so far, so I can't really say anything about them. But I do think the characters are the best part of this series for sure. A Galaxy Next Door is an anime I didn't really know I would like as much as I do going into it. I thought for sure my favorite romance this season would be something like Yamada, but this series for me surpassed Yamada by just being super wholesome and having good vibes. So if you want an anime with good vibes that is mega wholesome, then check this series out. I'm sure you will love it.
Francisco papers are investing a lot of money to try and get a service just like that started. Science editor Steve Newman reports on one person already using the brand new system.